And of course, local SEO. Now, I put this down at the bottom because, everything else is kind of really new and fresh and different. Local SEO is still the big one. Win the map pack and you're going to own your area, right? We have a whole masterclass on local SEO in our membership. It's like 6 hours, I think, of local SEO pros and cons and what you have to do and what not to do and how to do it and so on. But local SEO focuses on improving your visibility for location-based queries, especially in Google's local map pack, right? So if I go to Google and I type in, put like SEO training near me, right? Obviously, I'm going to have my sites come up here in the map. There we go. I'm here. Actually, these are all me. This is my Steve Scott SEO brand. This is my training academy. I've got two locations. They're all showing up here. Now, again, they're all very close to me, right? If I type in SEO training, let's say Tampa, a little different, right? There's the Tampa SEO, right? So we're showing up in the map pack. And look, I'm number one up here too. I mean, if you are really owning your area, here's another Tampa SEO, this is another version of my page. Here's my Yelp account. Here's my Facebook account. Here's a career center. I have a blog on there. Of the overview. Here's Meetup, right? Meetup.com. So the whole first page is me for SEO training Tampa. So again, if you improve your visibility for your location-based queries, especially in Google's local map app, you're going to be winning. It starts with optimizing that Google business profile. It includes creating hyperlocal content for specific neighborhoods or specific service areas. And it matters because most local searches lead to real-world interactions, right? Strong signals can drive calls, visits, and bookings right from the page. Okay, local search is like, especially for our home service businesses, one of the most important conversion paths that we see over everything right now. Okay, but things are changing now. I was just at a webinar the other day, put on by Sterling Sky, and they were talking about how there's a new AI overview local coming up now, and it's totally different than what you get in the local search that we got on the desktop. Totally different. Still figuring out what's going on there, how it's coming up, what's coming up, where it's showing, how to make it, how to make sure you show up there. Still working on that out. Really interesting that again they're changing things again, but local is super important. And so if you're a small local business, you service a particular area, you've got to be on top of your local SEO. Your GBP is one of the most important local ranking factors, period, end of story, no matter what. That is going to be your big one. And hyperlocal content helps you compete in smaller, more specific areas where intent is very high. So hyperlocal is like having lots of content for lots of different pages on the website of a website. I can give you like for example, we do one of our clients here. They do pressure washing and sealing, right? If we go over to you can see all the cities that do services in. If I go to, let's say, Apollo Beach, which is where they're kind of headquartered in, we get here, and here's a page about Apollo Beach pressure washing services in Florida, right? We list out the map. We have a little, video. The contents about pressure washing. We've even got, individual services in those pages. So if I go to like travertine sealing Apollo Beach, clicking on that. Now I'm on a travertine sealing Apollo Beach, Florida page, and this is all about travertine sealing in Apollo Beach. And I've got the similar page for like Brandon. In fact, if I go up here, I'll just swap out Brandon with Apollo Beach, hit enter. I bet it's going to pop up with another page. Oh, this is Ellington. I must have, okay. Must have been forwarding. Anyway, so here's Ellington stuff, right? So there's lots of content here. And if I were to go, let's just try it here. If I type in travertine sealing Ellington or travertine sealing in Ellington, Florida, right? Hit enter. Now they're not in Ellington, so they're not going to show up on the local listing. But look, they're number one right here, right? Premier Pro is right here for that. I don't know if they're showing up anywhere else here, but we can see that they're down here as well, right? So again, for other times, I've seen other times where they show up in AI overviews, travertine sealing Ellington. Let's try like I'm just off the cuff winging it here. Travertine sealing Brandon. Yeah, they're third on this one here. Okay, I'm not seeing an AI overview. for that, but they sometimes show up here as well in some of the video area. Anyway, the idea is to hyperlocal search is content that's unique, that has value for each city, each service, or just the city or just the service, but it helps you compete in smaller, more specific areas where intent is high and especially where competition is high too. Google looks at engagement signals from your GBP, right? They look at reviews in particular. And there's a lot about this. It's not just getting reviews, it's about the frequency of reviews, right? And more importantly is the recency of reviews. A lot of times I see people like they hit 1,000 reviews and they stop asking, or they kind of were on a really good push. Maybe somebody was sort of in charge of the review process at a company and then they left, or somebody got replaced and now that's slowed down. Well, guess what? Somebody that's got more recent reviews typically will overshadow someone that's got, rank wise, someone that hasn't had a review in a while. So the frequency of reviews, the recency, how quickly you reply, even what the sentiment is the majority of it like really, really good and glowing, or is some of it like, oh, these guys are really kind of shady and whatnot? That's going to have an impact, right? Things like regular posts, photos, and Q&As are also some of these engagement signals we're talking about. And then specific high quality reviews carry more weight than general praise. And missing or weak local signals can really delay rankings and visibility in local search. The pros, well, local search drives more traffic from local searches and map packs, helps you win the local snippets and voice results, like voice search. It builds trust with customers who see accurate, active business listings that are great new hey, that review was 2 days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago. Makes a difference. Cons is that it requires constant upkeep. Okay, you can't just set and forget it. It's not Ron Peel. You have to respond to reviews. You have to add posts. You have to put out question and answers. You have to kind of continually do stuff. You add photos. Outdated listings or poor reviews can really hurt your local performance. And hyperlocal content creation takes time, but it pays off over the long term. Again, it's about long-term strategy, not short-term gains. Your best practices to fully optimize that GBP. Again, my masterclass in GBP in our Also membership is going to be your gold for you to really get this done, locked in. Include products, services, details. Add fresh photos constantly and consistently. Create regular posts and updates. Generally, at least once a week would be a good idea. Respond to reviews quickly, 48 to 72 hours max, really. Don't go any longer than that. And keep those Q&As updated as well. Although some of these are starting to fade out. The Q&As, we're starting to see them kind of go away. So they may wind up, disappearing at some point. But build those localized landing pages with unique photos, local FAQs, and service area details on each of those pages on your website. That's for your website.